Well, I like what you said, that you were still on the high from the retreat and you wanted to kind of share from that energy, because it is meant to bring people to this place that's very cloistered and cut off from the world, to try to focus them in on Jesus.
Absolutely.
That's the point. And then you're not meant to live in that space, but you're meant to take what you learn there and take it back to the real world, your real life.
We do all the devotions during the walk, and it's intense. You get a lot of information, and to be able to take that back and into the real world, for me, it gives me more confidence and assurance that this is where God is pulling me to, directing me to share not only in my everyday life, but within the body of Christ.
So you've been involved with Walk to Emmaus for a long time, right? How many years?
Since 2006.
So 20 years you've been doing this, and you started out just attending it as a retreatant, right?
It was something I wanted to do because I knew it would take me deeper into a relationship with Christ. I didn't realize how intense it would be, how freeing it would be. It just draws you deeper and deeper, and the activities that we do throughout that 72 hours just allows you to realize how forgiving a God we have. And there's nothing we can do that He won't forgive.
What you're pointing to, at least it seems, is that maybe you had grown up in the Christian religion with the rules and the ideas, but maybe this was the first time you had a real experience of God, or a deeper experience.
A deeper experience. Because my first real deep experience was when I was 15 at church camp.
I think that's what makes this so special. It's about experiencing God.
For 72 hours, you're very Christ-focused, God-focused. You can't even look at your phones. You can't even have them in the building. They have to be left at home. Watches have to be left at home. I was just going to say, with balancing that 72 hours, you really, after the first 12 hours, you are really focused on what's going on. You kind of focus into how God's working in you, what your feelings are, and you really forget about the outside world.
What you're really saying is there's a structure to the world that it can be distracting, and the structure of the walk is meant to kind of create more space to shut out that world for a time so people can focus in on God.
It gives you time to be still and know.
Right.
To listen to what God is saying to you, speaking to you about, whether it may be about your job, it may be about work, it may be family issues. And those are things that you may be taking to God because you're looking for direction.
Yeah.
It's really very personal time. There's a time for togetherness because we eat all of our meals together. You do talk to your roommates, whoever you happen to be sleeping in the same room with. You happen to, while you're at your dinner tables, you're having conversations with others and like experiences.
You mentioned a little while ago about people checking in with themselves. You're trying to help them assess where they're at in their journey with God. But you also mentioned feelings. How are they feeling? Would you say it's more heart-focused than head-focused, or is it both?
It's more heart-focused than head-focused. You do have to be able to discern what God is saying to you in order for it to get from here to here. What is God saying to me? Is it here and it's me, or it's here and this is really from God. Now each of us hear God in different ways.
Sure.
For me, it's a still small voice that resonates in my head. and I know I better listen.
One of the focuses of the walk or the banquet is to start to teach people to pay attention. Getting them in a place where their attention isn't constantly pulled out, but where they can have the quiet. And spiritual direction, you mentioned spiritual direction, is someone who knows more about paying attention, so that directing someone who's starting to learn to pay attention, right? So you are a spiritual director in that situation.
You see all kinds of emotion. You see jubilance in that and joy when they recognize, oh, that's what that's supposed to mean. And there's lots and lots of tears, because as someone has spoken, then they can come back and the tables will have had discussions and what they each took out of that person's talk. And we'll discuss, or they will discuss, how it felt to them.
Would you say that's the overall message of these retreats, is that, hey, you can encounter God too?
And on a very personal level.
Right.
One of the subjects that was talked about this week in many instances was forgiveness. People don't realize that the forgiveness is for me.
So you're talking about God's faithfulness to us, regardless how well we're doing or not doing. And I think a lot of Christians are under that delusion, and they're taught that there's a performative Christianity. Yeah.
God's always there, and you can always turn to God, keeping in mind the answer you think that you want or a goal that you want may not be God's goal for you.
Sure. Like, we have so much to forgive ourselves for that we won't. And I think because we don't think God would forgive us.
Right.
But if you can push that door open for someone, or help them open it in a safe environment, then there's a flood of healing and also hurt, but it's beautiful, you know.
Yeah. It's freedom.
It's freedom.
It's peace.
Yeah.
And it's God's grace.
Right.
Look in our own congregation, though small, how supportive everybody is of one another. All you have to do is reach out and say, I need help, or I just need a hug.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we don't have that.
Do you need a hug?
Oh, I always
I'll give you a hug.
I'll give you a hug.
Thank you, Carol. I think that's
You're welcome.